Live from Kansas City, it's Comic Book Late Night with Captain Logan. Featuring thoughts on comic news, obscure character of the week, and a little something from the comic vault.
Walked you home, we talked all night. My hymn said that the future isn't written, so what do I do when I'm so smitten? And the newspaper says that you must die. Goodbye, my love. I'ma stand here do nothing and watch you die. It's a fickle thing this time. Wanna take you back and call you mine. Well, I wanna watch you get old and wither, but the world will be run by Hitler. It's what the newspapers say if you live. Goodbye, my love. I stand here to nothing and I watch you die. Goodbye, my love. I must protect the future, so I watch you die. Now watch you die. I must control these bones from destroying the world. I've got to stay logical and just give up the girl. Gotta give up the girl. Whoa,
was great, Alex.
Thank you.
It was a very sad song.
Yes, it was. It sounded so happy.
Yeah,
though.
if you know that episode, that was really good, man. I was impressed.
Thank you.
That was great. Hey, I want to say right now, very quickly, we're gonna have Alex do another song in just a second. But Tim, can you pop over here for just a second?
Yeah.
I just really quickly wanted to say that while that was going on, I realized that we were not recording. That we were not recording the show. Just before we introduced Alex. So what I'd like to do for the folks on YouTube is very quickly recap everything we did just before Alex came into the show. So, hello everyone, welcome to Comic Book Late Night. I'm Captain Logan. Here is the amazing Tim Lyons. And here is Gloria, our chat screener.
Hi!
Gloria is now perpetually in dinosaur form.
This is true.
Tonight we're going to be talking to Norm Breyfogle. Norm Breyfogle is my favorite Batman artist. He was drawing Batman in the late 80s, the early 90s, just before Nightfall. And it's really exciting to have him on the program. He's going to be talking about Batman Beyond a little bit later, and also some of his early Batman work. Here was the Know Your Batmobiles from today. Is it from 1952, 1956, or 1960? And I'll be back at the end of the show to let you know what the answer is to that Batmobile. Tim, which one do you think it is?
I'm going to go with 56, but I know nothing about this.
We'll find out if you're right. Today's trivia question is, what is the ventriloquist's real name? We already got the correct answer from one of our viewers online. We're going to find out a little bit later what the answer is to that. And here was today's fan art, Galactus of Borg. All right, Alex, let's have another song, buddy.
Cool.
Musical chairs.
This is Alex Boyd. He has a new album coming out. Alex, what is your new album called?
Songs I wrote that I really like. Yeah. Here's a song that isn't going to be on there. This song, there was a shirt that I saw the other day with a picture of a Tyrannosaurus Rex on it. It says, if you're happy and you know it, clap your O. I don't know that my wife bought me that shirt, but she should. So this song is along the same lines of that. Rawr! 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 Well, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. I play the harpsichord. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur. I play the harpsichord. Yes, I'm a dinosaur. Rawr! 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 Rawr!
I love that song. I think it's hilarious. My kid likes that song, too.
Good.
Brilliant!
Gloria approves, and that makes sense because she's a T-Rex attached to a stem.
I'm glad I haven't offended any T-Rexes in the room with that song, so.
Alex, we're going to hear some more from you a little bit later. Thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome.
And we'll see
Anytime.
you. We'll see you toward the end. And feel free to pop in and say things if anything hits your fancy. Alex is going to be with us the whole night. And the other thing that I should mention that I mentioned earlier before we started recording apparently is that we're having Pez tonight because Tim Lyons was really cool and went out and bought me a Pez dispenser. And believe it or not, he bought me a Batman Pez dispenser I didn't already have, which is remarkable.
Yeah, I'm astounded. I am nonplussed.
Well done. Hey Tim, can you guess what is next on the program?
I'm guessing the news.
And you would be right, sir.
Am I right that it's the news?
You're right.
Huey Lewis would be proud.
Here comes the news. Tim, I'm really excited about the first item of news today. I don't know if you heard about this, but Adam West got his star finally on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is extremely
that's
exciting.
cool. Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he should have gotten it a long time ago. You would have thought. I mean, given the fact that the guy from Married with Children got his.
Yeah, and as much as I love Stan Lee,
Ed O'Neill.
Stan Lee got his star on the Walk of Fame before Adam West. Stan Lee's not even an actor.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. So congratulations to Adam West. and I'm just tickled pink that happened. So there's this live stage show that started in England called Batman Live. Have you heard about this?
No.
And it's coming to the States here pretty soon. It's going to be in Oklahoma City in October. And I'm hoping to go. I really want to see it. It's this big, giant, elaborate stage show that looks kind of like the Burton Schumacher films. But it's
I did hear about
this
this.
giant,
Yeah,
flashy thing.
yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh no, it looks like Batman and Robin, but I kind of want to see it. I think it looks fun. It's a giant spectacle, and it looks like that's all it is. I'm going to show you a trailer for it right now, just so that people have an idea of what this is. Here's the trailer. So what do you think about that, Tim? Would you go to that?
I don't know. I would have just imagined that it'll end up like the Spider-Man stage show, even though it's a little bit different area, different intent, you know?
Yeah, well, but I'm okay with that. I mean, like, the Spider-Man stage show is supposed to be art, and this looks like just a giant spectacle. I mean, like, I think this would be better as an ice show. I think it should be Batman on ice.
That would be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
And Mr. Freeze would be appropriate there.
So speaking, well done. So speaking of Spider-Man, we got word this week from the director of Amazing Spider-Man that that movie is actually going to be just the beginning of Spider-Man's origin, and that they're actually going to do the origin over several films, and that he's doing something very, very different with the origin. It's just too complex for it to be just the origin in one movie. So what he said was he's not going to have a wrestling match in his movie. It's going to be a very different thing. And I think, and I've been saying this for a few months now, and I think that I might be right on this now that he's come out and said this. I don't think Uncle Ben's going to die in the first movie. I think he's going to make it through that first film.
Yeah, I would venture to say that. But then, how does that explain the motivation behind Peter Parker's actions?
Well, here's the thing. It seems like the story is partially derived from Ultimate, which did Peter Parker's origin in a very different way from how it happened in the comics. And in this, and I'm not saying that it's going to be that exactly, but it has a lot to do with Peter Parker's parents, who were not dealt with in any way, shape, or form in the original Spider-Man movies. And so I think that their involvement with Doc Connors and things is going to have something to do with him putting on the costume. I think that he's probably going to get his spider powers and put on his costume before Uncle Ben even dies. That's my guess. Could be wrong. We don't know a lot yet.
Is the Black Cat going to be in it? That's what I want to know.
No, she's not going to be in the first one. But
Wake me up when Black Cat's in a movie. I love her.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Do you want just a Black Cat solo film? Would
Sure.
that do it for
Sure.
you? All right. We need to get this man a camera.
Yeah, we certainly do. Yeah.
There is a new book coming out that it looks like it's kind of for kids, kind of a fun satirical thing, also for adults, called Darth Vader and Son by Jeffrey Brown. This is going to be published by Chronicle Books. It comes out this month, and it's a collection of one-panel sketches about Darth Vader and his son, and it looks like all kinds of fun.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, I really want that. I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, man.
I love
Yeah.
how small Luke is in there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's just like tiny,
Less
just
than
tiny.
his knee.
I know, it's ridiculous. And they're having ice cream and.
This week,
Circus Dad.
Do you think they paid for the ice cream, or did they just convince the guy at the ice cream parlor that they?
Yeah, they probably just went, no, we do not need to pay for our ice cream. 2 Avengers clips.
These are not the sprinkles you're looking for.
All right, can I have my show back?
Yes.
Awesome. Two Avengers clips have been released. No, we can do 20 minutes on that. Two Avengers clips have been released this week. Tony Stark talking with Loki and Thor and Cap having a fight, not fighting each other, but fighting the alien things. I'm not going to talk about them in case people don't want to know what actually happens in the clips, because some people are very anti-clips before they see movies. But it looks good. I still say that we have way too much information about this film before it comes out, but I'm absolutely stoked and I think it's going to be great. So I just wanted to mention that that's out in case you want to go find it. Spider-Man will in fact be, as a lot of people were speculating, in Ultimate Spider-Man and regular Amazing Spider-Man from the 616 universe crossover. I don't know what I think about this. I feel like it's a little too early to have a big crossover between the new Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales and and regular Spider-Man. We've only had 9 issues so far. This is going to happen here in a couple months, and I feel like that story is so much about Miles Morales trying to figure out how to be Spider-Man without having any kind of mentor, really. He doesn't have Peter Parker as his mentor because Peter Parker died, so I don't love the idea that he gets to meet the other Peter Parker this early in his crime-fighting career. But, it's going to be Bendis, so it's likely to be really good. I don't think it should have happened, but I'm still going to read it. I mean, it could be great. I'm not angry, but I don't know. I'm not sure it should have happened. Matt Groening has finally revealed that Springfield is in Oregon. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I heard about that. And honestly, okay. I mean, I liked it better when it was kind of a mystery. But then, all of a sudden Matt Groening comes out and says in this interview that, it's based on Oregon. And by the way, if you look at all the names of the streets in Portland, it's like, okay, well, that makes sense.
That seemed like the kind of thing. He's kept it concealed for so long. There's no talk whatsoever that I've seen as to why he chose this moment to reveal it.
Maybe it's because it's the exact point in which people care the least.
So,
and that's like
sure.
the artistic way to go. It's like the Andy Kaufman way to go. It's like, okay, well, now I'll finally reveal it now that nobody cares.
But I would have waited till the series was over. It seemed like that would have been the perfect time to come out and mention that,
That's true. But then again, does he even have control over his series anymore? I mean, is that something where Fox can keep it going after he wants to stop?
I don't know, although Fox has at various points talked about canceling it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
so,
who
I don't
knows?
know.
That's.
Have you been watching it this season?
No, I haven't watched it for a very long time. They maybe have gotten their mojo back, but the last thing I saw was the movie.
Yeah, and I saw the movie and I loved it, and I saw a couple episodes of the season afterwards, and it was a lot like the movie. I thought it was quite good. But anyway, so in case you wanted to know that, it's in Oregon. There's a new Gambit series coming after Avengers vs. X-Men. Here's what we know about it. There's the news. So here's the most bizarre news maybe I've ever mentioned on the show ever, Tim. Are you ready for this? If you go to Firebox online, you can get your own head on an action figure for $127.
Gloria, are you taking notes?
What? What are you talking about? What? Huh?
I want my head on an action figure.
Oh, done.
Yeah,
Sweet.
$127 gets your head on one of these pre-made action figures. These are the ones they have. It's all DC. It's Wonder Woman, Superman, Joker, Batman, and Batgirl, and I think this is just ridiculous. I don't know. What do you think about that? Can you imagine anybody actually wanting to do this?
Well, I'm enough of a narcissist to where I would do it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Why
Wouldn't it be
not?
cooler if you could get a full action figure of just yourself?
Well, yeah,
That didn't
no.
have to have like a licensed body on it?
I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be great, but I'd take Batman's body over my own.
I'm happy enough
Just
to have a couple
saying.
voodoo dolls of myself flying around out there somewhere. So,
Are you saying that you actually have that, and so you're just content right now, or you're hoping that happens eventually?
no, ex-girlfriends and
Oh, yeah, I know how it goes, yeah.
Well, I'm happy to say I cannot relate to that. Next thing, this has nothing to do with comic books, but I felt the need to bring it up. I read Entertainment Weekly today, and apparently there's a Monsters remake in the works.
Yep.
Coming to NBC. It's going to be a dark comedy. It's not going to be a sitcom. It's going to be a comedy drama, and I think that this is, if you're going to do a Monsters remake, this is the time to do it. We've got such a giant resurgence of horror going on right now. Everything is all vampires and werewolves, and so if you're going to do it, now's the time. It's going to be on NBC. It's going to film this June. I don't know when the air date's going to be. I don't think they've released that yet. I'm going to watch it. I hope it's awesome. I'm not sure I need that, but I hope it's awesome. The only thing I hope is that they keep the theme song, that they keep some kind of semblance of the theme song.
They better keep the theme song, but Fred Gwynn is rolling in his grave. I'm going to throw that out there right now.
I'm with you.
You know, because it's like, why would you remake the Munsters? I mean, seriously. At this point, you know, the by far the better property to draw from is the Addams Family in that sort of sense.
You think?
know? Yeah, I think that between the two, I've always liked the Addams Family more, but
see,
it spread across more mediums. You know, because you had the Addams Family video games, and you had the movies, and you had the TV show, and then you had the animated TV show. You only had the Munsters live-action show, unless I'm mistaken.
No, that's not entirely accurate. There was a resurgence of it in the late 80s, where they recast everybody and did another, 3 seasons of it. They brought everybody to present day. They did a weird, I didn't know about this until a few weeks ago, believe it or not. I just found this. Yeah, it was bizarre. And basically it was they put them all in stasis, and then they woke up a few years later, and they were in the 80s. That's what they did with it.
But it was the same actors?
No, it was different actors. And that's the thing, is that the guy... And the guy who played Grandpa Munster was really upset that they didn't cast him in it, because he looked the part now. He didn't have to put makeup on. I don't know if you know this, but he played a lot of roles when he was younger, where he was made up to look a lot older than he was, because he did a really good old man. And then when he grew up, he looked almost like that makeup. He looked nearly identical to that makeup, and he could just play the character without putting any makeup on.
And that's when he couldn't get cast.
And they wouldn't cast him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were also a lot of TV movies with the same cast just before that.
Yeah, but TV movies I always count as the same level as the TV show. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But I didn't know about the resurgence in the 80s. I didn't hear about that, but still, those two things and a couple of TV movies, the Addams Family wins hands down as far as just sheer amount of content out there. And maybe that means that they can do something really creative with the Munsters, and they don't have this very well-established canon to draw from, from various mediums. That they don't have to pay attention to that. They can do exactly what they want, and that's what they can do. Who knows? Could be good.
I also wanted to mention from Entertainment Weekly, just because I thought it was really awesome, there was this really cool Target ad about merchandising for superheroes, and what they did was they took all these various just random pieces of things they had and put them all together to look like various superhero things. So Iron Man's got pencils in his face, and the Captain America shield has Dr. Pepper cans around it. I think Target has really good advertising. I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought it was really cool. So anyway, that's it for the news. Let's go ahead and go to today's poll. Today's poll is: would you pay $127 to have your own head on an action figure? If you just had it laying around, would you pay that much money to have your head on an action figure? Gloria the dinosaur is going to write all that down for us right now, and when I get finished with the quick tweet reviews, we'll find out the answer to that poll. Tim, if you had $127 laying around, would you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Would you really?
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, I'd much prefer to have the full action figure, sure, but like I said before, I would take my head on Batman's body, sure.
I just don't think they look that good.
Well, they might not, but you can still say you're an action figure, and that's just cool to be able to say. It's like a great bar story,
If I could get it on this...
Oh, I'm sure you can get a custom Pez dispenser.
That'd be pretty cool. Well, today's cover of the week is Avengers vs. X-Men #1. I think this is a great cover. It's this image has been floating around all over the place for the last couple months, and I think this is going to be one of those kind of really famous kind of covers later on if this ends up being as popular as it looks like it's going to be. I'm surprised by how good this has been, and I'm so excited about it right now. So anyway, I think this is a great cover. Now let's go ahead and get into the quick 140 character tweet reviews. If you've never watched the show before, that's right. I do a whole bunch of comic book reviews in 3 minutes in tweet review form. Here we go. Action Comics #8, really satisfying conclusion to this arc. Great sci-fi story with Brainiac obsessing about collecting worlds. 3.5 out of 4. Then we go to Aquaman #7. Glad to see Shin back already. Good mystery setup about Atlantis, but not quite enough story for one issue. 3 out of 4. Spawn #218. Hey, things are finally rolling along now. Glad to see Jim in the costume again. Really freaky reveal with Sam. 3.5 out of 4. Then we go over to Ultimate Comics Spider-Man #9. I love watching Miles deal with everyday problems. He's no good at being Spider-Man yet. Marquez's art is really dynamic. 3.5 out of 4. Then we go to Avenging Spider-Man #6. I love this crossover so far. This is, by the way, the Omega Effect. I'm not reading this book normally, but they're doing a crossover with Punisher and Daredevil, and I'm reading Daredevil, so I bought this, and it's quite good. Dynamic between Punisher, Daredevil, and Spider-Man really good, and the art is quite breathtaking. 4 out of 4. That's an artist I don't know. I thought it was really good. Then we got Batman Arkham Unhinged #1. Story setting up Two-Face and Catwoman is really exciting. Vibrant art. Wish they'd do this with the game story. 3.5 out of 4. This was released, by the way, in digital first quite a while back, but they're now putting them in print. And I read things in print, so I bought this. Amazing Spider-Man 683. I love the satirized politicians. Not sure about Spider-Man suddenly having a plan for everything a la Batman. And more Caselli, 3 out of 4. Then we go to Venom #15. I was worried this would be too Avengers heavy. It was not. Extremely heavy consequences for Flash going AWOL, 4 out of 4. And finally, Avengers vs. X-Men #1. The Phoenix setup is excellent. I totally buy these two teams going against each other. I love the moment the fighting finally starts. 3.5 out of 4. And now it's time to find out the answers to the poll. Gloria, you got the poll ready?
Yes, I do.
All right. What's the what are the results of today's poll, Gloria?
We have 1 maybe, 6 no's, 2 hell no's, 2 yeses, 1 who would not want to be an action figure, and 1 Marvel yes, anything else no. That's it.
Tim, I love that Gloria the dinosaur has to look down at her notes while she's...
Yeah, well, hey, dinosaurs didn't have great visual acuity, and it was based on movement, so you gotta, if you remember that from the...
Gloria, do you play the harpsichord?
What? No, not at all.
Okay, I was just curious. And now it's time for another exciting edition of Ask Captain Logan. For the next 5 minutes, I'm going to take answers or questions. I'm going to take answers, and then I'm going to ask you questions based on those answers. It's going to be Jeopardy, but I didn't write it beforehand.
Yeah,
anyway,
so create some clues, and he'll answer in the form of a question.
Right? No, don't do that. I don't think we could do that in 5 minutes. So Gloria's going to give me some questions, and I'm going to answer them. Anything based on anything I talked about tonight, or anything just regular comic related, whatever you want to ask me. 5 minutes, and here we go. Gloria, what do you got for me?
Captain Logan, will you ever do a review of the fan-made film Batman Dead End?
Actually, yes, I am going to talk about Dead End at one point. I am planning on doing a spotlight on fan films on Superhero Rewind sometime in the near future. Probably expect that either in the summer or right at the beginning of the fall. I'm not quite prepared for that, but yeah, some of the things I'm going to talk about on that are Dead End. I'm going to talk about the Casey Jones fan film because I found that quite interesting. Have you seen that, Tim?
I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
It's interesting. There's a couple Batman things I want to talk about. There's lots of stuff. I don't have a list in front of me, but anyway, yes, that is going to happen. So look forward to that down the road.
I saw a great Mega Man X fan film.
Yeah, you talked about that a lot.
Well, no, not the Mega Man fan film
different
that Screw Attack did. No, this is a Mega Man X thing that it's only about 4 minutes long, and it was actually really good. It had really good special effects. I just wish that the guy that they got for Dr. Light would have toned it down a little bit. So.
Another one I wanted to mention on that was City of Scars. I'm definitely gonna touch on that one.
Oh, yeah, that was a great one, yeah.
Did you watch that finally?
Yeah, I checked that out after.
Wasn't it interesting?
Yeah.
They did the ventriloquist in that, and it was amazing. I was quite impressed
The
with
whole thing was just really, really impressive.
Gloria the Dinosaur,
Yes,
do you have another question for me?
I do. What happened between you and Michael Dorn?
Oh, well, I'll mention this briefly. I guess this popped up in a commentary I did last week. I went to a Star Trek convention, and I don't know. I'm not sure I want to come on record and even talk about this. I met Michael Dorn at a Star Trek convention and asked him to sign my batleth, and he just wasn't real nice to me. He wouldn't look at me. He kept his head down the whole time signing, and I was talking to him, and I wasn't like flamboyant or crazy or anything. I was just talking with him, and he wouldn't look at me, and anyway, I didn't love that. It was unfortunate, but that's what happened between me and Michael Dorn.
That's sad.
It could be worse. He could be Brent Spiner.
I've not met Brent Spiner.
I was just referring to his... Brent Spiner has a web series called Fresh Hell.
Oh, it's great, too.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
Did you see
that.
Burton on there? LeVar Burton was on there?
No, I've only seen the first couple episodes of that.
Oh,
I know they just brought it back finally. It had several months hiatus and then finally came back.
All right, but the new season's great.
Have you read Invincible by Robert Kirkman?
No, I've not read Invincible. I'm not real familiar with Kirkman stuff, believe it or not. I've not even delved into Walking Dead yet. They've never done it. I'm not a big horror guy. I have read his Super Dinosaur, which Gloria would like quite a bit.
Yay!
All right, Gloria.
How many tie-ins to Avengers and X-Men will you buy?
Does it take to change a light bulb? Probably none. I'm not really planning on buying any of those. Well, Avengers vs. X-Men is 12 issues and it's 2 a month and it's quite good and that's all I need. I'm not against tie-ins on as a rule, but I hadn't planned on getting any of those.
Have you finally seen the new Doctor Who episodes with Matt Smith?
Oh, I still have not seen any Matt Smith, guys. I'm sorry, I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, I've been busy with things and I haven't watched that. I need to get to it. But I will say, and I don't mean to call Vince out, but Vince has been following that stuff and he's talking about doing a review of season 6 on his own pretty soon. So I'll see if I can get on him and get him to do that.
Have you made the switch to Blu-ray?
No.
Good man.
Okay. Do you watch The Big Bang Theory?
No.
What?
I've seen a few episodes. It's just not my cup of tea. I like things about it, but I'm not a big sitcom guy on the whole. But anyway, one more.
Have there been a lot of Robins over the years? Are you okay with the Damien being the last one, or would you like to see another kid take on the mantle? I don't understand that question.
Well, as far as Damien, I don't know. I don't need a bunch of more Robins. I'm not a big Damien fan. I think it would be okay to go a while without a Robin, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I made this known before. I don't love Damien. I didn't love Damien with Dick, and I don't love him with Bruce. It's just. He's a brat and I find him quite obnoxious, and some people love the teen angst thing they do with him, which I think is odd because he's 10. But anyway, I don't know. It's just not really my thing. Well, Gloria, thanks a lot for throwing me the questions.
Hey, you're welcome.
Well done. And now it's time to go to the Comic Grill. Tonight we're talking with Norm Breyfogle, and it's really exciting that I got to talk to Norm. He's a fantastic guy. We talked a good long time even after the interview. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Here is Norm Breyfogle. Hey everybody, this is Captain Logan, and tonight I have the enormous privilege of interviewing my favorite Batman artist and the Batman I grew up with, Mr. Norm Breyfogle. Hi, Norm.
Did you really use the adjective enormous?
Enormous, yes, sir.
Very good.
Before we get into the Comic Grill, I just wanted to ask you, it's been a lot of years since you've worked on a Batman title regularly, and since you've only recently been doing any work again for DC, I wanted to ask you how Batman Beyond came about.
Well, I was asked by Jim Chadwick, after not working for DC for almost 10 years, or around 10 years, I was contacted by Jim Chadwick last summer to draw the Batman 1990s retroactive book. And shortly after that, I guess he liked what I was doing, or he was hearing good things, or maybe because we got along well, or I don't know what it was. I haven't really asked him in detail. I don't want to give horse in the mouth. He asked me to do Batman Beyond. And my Archie gig was just ending at the time, so it was perfect timing, which is really strange to me because this happens over and over again throughout my career. One job is ending. I haven't been looking for work because I'm working regularly, right? And then when that job ends, something else comes along right after it without my even looking. It's very strange. It's like they're all tied together. It's a big conspiracy.
Well,
I don't really believe that.
It sounds like a good kind of conspiracy. What's it like to have to draw Batman without a cape?
Well, that's kind of funny, too. I always loved Batman's cape because it's a great design element, and I kind of missed the idea when I was just starting drawing Batman Beyond that I wouldn't be able to draw the cape, but it does have a really cool costume, and he's really acrobatic, and he's got these cool wings that pop out, and as soon as I got used to it, I looked back at the idea of drawing Batman with a cape, and it actually felt kind of archaic to me. Like, that cape would get all the logical things that people point out about how bad a cape is, like in a fight, or how we get caught on flagpoles, you can hang yourself, or it'd be too warm, or it'd be too heavy, or what. All that came flooding back to me, and it seemed more realistic to me, too. So it actually the cape seems kind of archaic to me now.
Wow, that's really funny, because that's the big thing I think a lot of people remember about your Batman, is the way you drew capes.
I love drawing Batman.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about drawing Batman is the cape. Like I said, it's a great design element. But, anything could be a design element.
I always put you up with Todd McFarlane with cape drawing.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I always put you up with Todd McFarlane with cape drawing. It's Todd McFarlane and it's Norm Breyfogle. Those are the cape guys.
Not the guy I would have chosen, but I will take that as a compliment.
Well, I don't mean that you draw them like him. I just mean that those are my two favorite cape artists.
No, I understand. I just don't think that we draw the cape the same way.
No, I don't think you do either.
I guess I can see what you're saying, though. I mean, I did exaggerate it. I mean, that's what comics are about, is exaggeration for a large part of them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about the medium.
In the exaggeration. So, yeah, there was a certain similarity there.
Well, Norm, are you ready to jump into the ever-ominous comic book grill?
Oh, I thought we were already there. Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go. Question number 1.
Wait, I'm not zipped in my asbestos suit yet.
Okay, I'll wait.
I'm ready.
Okay. I think that you're given a lot of credit for bringing Batman back into popularity in the comics in the late 80s, and I'd like to know if your unique style of drawing the character was a conscious effort to make it darker, or were you simply drawing it the way you saw it in your head?
I think what was unique about me, about my Batman, was not that I made it darker so much, it's just that I brought a unique drawing style, because I wasn't imitating anybody else, and my drawing style had evolved through a couple of decades of development, and I was always striving for originality, so that's really what it is. I mean, I definitely didn't make Batman darker than he had been in the past. If you ask me, that wasn't even done by Frank Miller. That was done by Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could say you go right back to his origin, back in 1940, and he was originally depicted that way,
right,
in kind of a darker manner. But after he became, kind of a spacefarer and a pop icon and almost a clown, the first people that brought him back to his dark roots were Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. And when Frank Miller came around, just before I got onto the Batman books, I felt the same way, but I didn't feel like he was like bringing Batman back to his dark roots for the first time. It was just another version of making Batman dark again. I mean, every Batman fan knows that Batman's supposed to be that way, and any real hardcore Batman fan knows that Batman was like that at the very beginning. So you can't really say that anybody made Batman dark, except for Bob Kane, because he was originally dark.
Yeah, I'm sure you
As
have.
to whether or not I brought back kind of a darker sensibility to Batman in the visuals, it's hard for me to say that, too. I mean, I was, like I said, Frank Miller had just done Batman, and it certainly wasn't me that did it. If anybody around the time frame that I got into Batman brought Batman back to his dark roots again, visually speaking, it would have been Frank Miller. But there were a lot of different versions of that going around. I mean, Tim Apparel, when he was drawing Batman and Brave and the Bold and Detective Comics back in the early 70s and through the mid-70s, he definitely had a mysterious, darker sensibility to Batman, too.
Oh, sure.
So I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question. I sure did say a lot for not knowing how to answer it, though.
That's okay. I guess I was just saying I think that's sometimes what the perception is. I agree with you. I'm not sure that that's exactly what happened, but I think sometimes that's kind of the perception. Question number 2. You co-created several long-lasting Batman characters, and which of them are you most proud of?
Well, I guess I would put the ventriloquist at the top of that, just because he's such an iconic character. I mean, a ventriloquist dummy being a frightening object has been around in pop culture from even before the 60s Batman TV show, even before Batman got back to his dark roots. There was a movie called Dark of Night, which was basically a series of vignettes of horror stories, and it was all tied up together with, at the end of the movie, with a ventriloquist dummy that came to life, and it was really scary. It scared the dickens out of me when I was a kid. There were 2 or 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone about ventriloquist dummies being scary objects, frightening objects. And then there was the movie Magic, the novel, and the movie Magic. I read the novel actually before it was made a movie. And then when Alan Grant put this character, this new ventriloquist dummy character, into one of the scripts, it was like a no-brainer. I mean, the moment I saw it, it was like, wow, how come nobody's done that for Batman before? I mean, this kind of a frightening character has been around, like I said, in other sources of pop culture for a long time. It was amazing that Alan was the first one to bring it into Batman.
Yeah, and clearly a Batman-type villain.
I would put ventriloquist at the very top, probably. And then I also like Anarchy, just because he's such a unique character. He's even more unique than the ventriloquist in one important way, and that is that in terms of comics characters, mainstream superhero or costume comics characters, he's one of the, if not the most socially conscious and philosophical. So he's really unique in that sense. He's more unique in that sense than Batman, more unique in that sense than anybody except maybe V for Vendetta. But V for Vendetta wasn't really mainstream. I mean, I guess it's kind of become mainstream because it became so popular, but, it wasn't a DC or Marvel superhero. So So after that, God, name some of the other characters. It's been a while since I worked on any of those characters. It's hard to remember them. There was Zaz. Zaz is another good one.
Zaz,
He's like
yeah.
the ultimate modern villain. He's like Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs. So I would put him probably third. And then there was the Fear, who could transform into anybody. You know, he could hypnotize you into thinking that he looked like Abraham Lincoln or Jesus or anything like that, or a monster for that matter. He's really cool because he's so psychotic and so nightmare-inducing, literally, that he's a lot of fun to draw. Now, outside of those four, I would have to start thinking about the other ones that we created. I know we created quite a handful, but...
Well, I wanted to ask you about Zaz for a second. You drew, if I'm not mistaken, you drew him quite a bit differently than he's drawn now.
In comics, because artists don't use the same models, and most artists don't even use a model, characters without costumes or without any really outstanding characteristic to them look like just basically run-of-the-mill people. I mean, they could be drawn in almost any way, as long as they have any characteristics that you put on them. Like, for instance, his scars. Zod has all the scars all over his body. That's kind of like his costume. That's what makes him look unique. Now, he could shave his head. He could grow like in the last Batman movie, he could grow a goatee. I mean, he's still basically the same character as long as he's got those scars all over his body.
That's a good point.
At one point, I played around with making his eyes like permanently different than human, and I think that failed. I think that was a bad idea. It works. It works if you use it in the right psychological situation. But if you make it like a standard quality of the character, that it's like, this guy can't even be human. I mean, what's with his eyes?
Well, this question is related to the last, a live-action ventriloquist in a Batman feature film. Would you like to see it, and do you think it could be done well?
Oh, I would love to see it. And it could definitely be done well, because, like I said, that kind of a ventriloquist, that frightening ventriloquist character has already been done on film in a lot of different venues, like the ones that I mentioned. So, yeah, it would be ideal for Batman. But then again, you know, it's not really the characters per se. The characters are important, but it's all in the telling of the story. It all depends on the director and the actors, the writers. It's all in the telling of the story. I mean, you can even take a very blasé situation and you can make it very interesting if you're creative enough.
Question number 4, completely unrelated to anything, slightly personal question. I read in an interview that you happened to watch Star Trek, and I am a giant Trek fan, and so I have to ask what your favorite of the Star Trek series is.
I mean, which of the series is my favorite, or which episode of some series?
Well, either if you can think of an episode, but I was just going to go for series, because I never know what people know.
Of course, because it, got Kirk. When he got William Shatner when he was a young man. What a Adonis he was. And I'm not even gay, but he was one hell of a good guy. And he was a great actor. He was so heroic. He was like the epitome of a heroic male to me when I was a kid. I didn't have a father. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 3, so I grew up with male role models that were in pop culture, mostly. And Kirk was one of them. Also because, it was the beginning of the series, and I grew up with it. I mean, I've got all kinds of nostalgic reasons to prefer that over the others, although there are so many other good things about Trek. I mean, I love The Next Generation. I thought Picard was great. I remember watching the first episode when it first aired, and that night I dreamt that Picard was my best friend. Literally, I had a dream like that. I also liked, I liked all of the only one that I never really watched, the only series that I never really watched at all was, I'm not even sure if I can remember, it was the one about the space station.
Oh, DS9?
Yeah, I never really watched that. I probably would have gotten into it if I'd watched it. Another one that I really liked a lot, almost as much as the original series, was Voyager. Mainly because, to me, it seemed a lot like the original series, because they were out there where no man had gone before, and they were encountering strange things all the time. And I also liked Kate Mulgrew's depiction of Captain Janeway. I thought she was really dynamic. And, in fact, my favorite episode, I've seen probably all of those episodes as well. My favorite episode of Voyager was, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember the name of it. I probably won't. It was the one where you think you're watching the Voyager crew, but they're actually creations of this planet, the demon planet. And they start to decay because they're away from the demon planet. And then they deduce, because they're such perfect duplicates, they actually have their personalities and everything, they deduce that they are not the original. And to see them slowly disintegrate and into galactic soup at the end is just really heartbreaking. Because, our individuality breaks down and then we die. And it just really... I just saw a lot of profundity in that episode. But I've liked a lot of the episodes. In the original series, my favorite episode would probably be the second pilot, The Cage.
Oh, true.
Well, actually, it was called...
The original pilot was The Cage.
That was based on the second pilot.
Menagerie.
Called The Cage. But yeah, I thought Jeffrey Hunter would have made a great Kirk, although we don't really have enough evidence to know for sure. But I have a feeling that some of the people that have said that he wouldn't have had the soft humanity that William Shatner brought to the role. So maybe Shatner was probably better than Jeffrey Hunter, but Jeffrey Hunter was great as a captain, as a heroic lead. He also made a great Jesus, King of Kings.
Well, and those two were creating such different characters. I always wondered what that show would be like if it was, if they stayed with his character instead of Kirk, and if it would have had the and if it would have had the staying power it ultimately did.
Go to an alternate reality and see a human culture that's not exactly similar to ours, not exactly identical, just similar. I've always thought that would be really neat.
Yeah,
the only kind of time that I get a taste of that is like when somebody sends me a scan of a drawing that I did maybe at a convention 10, 15, 20 years ago. And it's been so long, and it's so long ago since I've seen it, and I've done so many sketches that I've forgotten all about it. And when I first see it, for the first few seconds, it's like I'm looking at my own artwork objectively. And I never really get that feeling because you know, I spent a lot of effort and time doing a drawing, so it's like it's already deep inside you, so you can't really see it. I always felt like I can't really see my work as objectively as I could, but I get a little taste of that feeling when I see an old drawing that I've forgotten about. And that's kind of like going to an alternate reality and seeing a different version of Kirk or Batman. Maybe it'd be called Fledermaus Man because it'd be German.
And hopefully he wouldn't be too much like the Tick character.
Too much like the what?
I said, and hopefully he wouldn't be too much like the Tick character to Fledermaus.
That'd be a totally different character. Then.
Yeah, I believe so. Well, he probably wouldn't just run away from everything, and he wouldn't be obsessed with furniture and clothes. Final question, Norm. When you were a kid, what were your favorite comic books, and can you remember the first comic you ever read?
The first one that I ever read? You mean that I read myself, or
yes.
that somebody read to me?
Well, either, Norm.
Well, I've been asked that question before, of course, and I can't say
sure.
that I know what the very first comic was that I ever saw or became aware of. I do know some of the earliest ones, though, that really entranced me. I remember there was an episode of World's Finest where it was an imaginary tale where Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne were brought up together as brothers, and when they became adult superheroes, they were brothers, and they had the same parents. Bruce Wayne was brought up by the Kents as well. That one really had a big impact on me. It was also drawn by the great Kurt Swan and inked by George Klein, and the artwork had such a realistic feel to it that, you know, as Kurt Swan was wont to do, that it really sucked me into the story. The characters that most attracted me were the ones that I became aware of most readily when I was a kid, and those were the ones that were, you know, the most marketed, and that were in cartoons and TV shows. So there was Batman, there was the old George Reed Superman TV show. So I was aware of Superman probably before I was aware of any other superheroes, and before I could read, definitely, and before I even went to kindergarten. I was probably aware of Superman as early as 3 years old, because I still have a vague memory. Before my mom and dad got divorced when I was 3 years old, I still remember, I must have only been 2.5 or something, asking for Christmas to have a toy Superman doll that really flies. Of course, I never got that because I didn't make them. All they had were gliders, and that's not what I wanted. So I suppose Superman would be the very first comics character that I ever really became aware of. Well, unless you count, you know, funny animal comics, because I was seeing Roadrunner and Bugs Bunny and stuff like that. That's the kind of comics I got into. When I got into comics, I got into superhero comics, and the first superhero character that I became aware of was definitely Superman.
Well, Norm, thanks so much for talking to me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's been fun.
And everybody be sure and keep reading Batman Beyond. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think you and Adam Beechin together is a fantastic team, and I hope to see you guys together for a good long time.
I hope so, too. We're getting along really well, and I'm enjoying the work, and apparently it's doing well. So, first issue sold out, for instance.
Is it going into a second printing, or do you know?
Yes.
Yes, great. Well, I just picked up number 2 today, and it's still excellent.
Thank you.
Well, Norm, thanks again. Sure appreciate it, man.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Once again, it's Casual Batman Day. If you're wearing something that has Batman on it, you're wearing what you should be wearing. Yes, indeed. And now it's time for a message.
OnStar now offers voice access to internet news, stocks, and email. Riddler.
Virtual advisor.
Get email.
Riddle me this. What do a river and money have in common?
A bank. Get my business news.
Gotham City Bank closed early today for its stockholders' dinner.
It's payday, boys!
Not today. Voice-activated internet service from OnStar.
And now it's time for a sudden, unannounced giveaway. Yes, indeed. Tim, I'm going to give something away.
Sweet.
And here's what I'm giving away. It's Volume 1 of Batman No Man's Land. This is, as I say all the time, one of my very, very favorite things, No Man's Land. And I got this from Comics Kid 2099, and I have this. And Vince has this. Tim doesn't have this.
I don't have this.
Vince has this, and I thought, well, it would be really cool to give it away on the show. So I'm going to give this away to the first person who can tell me which of the 3 following pictures was drawn by Norm Breyfogle. So in the comments, when you see this, I want you to take a look at these pictures and write in the letter that you think is Norm Breyfogle's drawing. And if you, the first person who gets it right is going to get Volume 1 of Batman No Man's Land. Here it is. Is it A, B, or C? And Gloria the Dinosaur is going to tell us who got it right first. Gloria, anybody get it yet?
X Night Spawn X.
Night Spawn, fantastic. Night Spawn, be sure to personal message me your information, and I will send you Batman No Man's Land Volume 1. That's absolutely correct. A is a drawing by Jim Aparo, and C is a drawing by Neil Adams. So those are the artists there. And now it's time once again for Obscure Character of the Week. Today's Obscure Character of the Week is brought to you by Arkham City. It's a fun place to visit, but I wouldn't want to be committed there. Here comes Obscure Character of the Week. Today's Obscure Character of the Week is Dr. Destiny. Have you ever heard of Dr. Destiny? He debuted in Justice League of America number 5 in 1961. He was a criminal scientist who invented incredible devices, including an anti-gravity device, which was the first thing he used against the JLA. And then later, he was known for creating something called the Materiopticon, which let him create reality from his dreams.
Oh, so it's
Yes.
Materiopticon.
Yes.
Like materials.
Like materials, thank you. Yeah, I got that part. I was just having a... What do you mean, Gloria?
Oh, I was just going to say he looks like Skeletor.
Yeah, he kind of does look like Skeletor.
Right?
Just a little
Right?
bit, yeah.
Yeah, no, he looks a lot like Skeletor.
Totally.
Yeah. Thanks for that observation. Later on, of course,
By the power of Grayskull.
Later on, they kind of retconned that, and we found out that the thing was actually not his genius, but a dreamstone which powered it. So it turned into a magic thing instead of a science thing. And the JLA, just to stop him because he got so powerful, had to hypnotize him so that he couldn't dream. Which sounds like a pretty violent act, even against a criminal. They had to make it to where he was incapable of REM sleep, which sounds like a dangerous thing in and of itself, really. And he was thrown into Arkham Asylum, and that became his regular shtick. He'd get thrown into Arkham, and then he'd come out again, and then he'd get thrown into Arkham, and he'd come back out again. Most recently, in Superman Batman, he created a dream world of combinations of different people from reality and tried to replace the real world with his world. He appears in a couple episodes of Justice League. The main one is Only a Dream, and then I think later he pops up just briefly in another one. And he also was the basis, a lot of people think, for a character called the Traveler in Smallville Season 3's Slumber, who was this guy who could invade people's dreams, but he looked a little bit like Skeletor also, except you couldn't really see his face, and he had this big red cloak instead of this big blue and black one. But I think that's maybe one of the earliest Obscure Character of the Weeks we've had, 1961. If you have an idea for Obscure Character of the Week or some fan art you want to show off, any suggestions you have for the show, send me a personal message on Geekvolution, and we'd love to hear from you. You can check out wearegeeksnotnerds.com and see all the fun videos that we have there. You also look us up on YouTube if you happen to be watching this and you have not seen us on YouTube somehow. And if you want to send me anything to review, send it to my P.O. Box. It's Geekvolution, P.O. Box 14183, Lenexa, Kansas 66285. And now it's time once again to find out what I've pulled from the ever-ominous comic book vault. Today on the Comic Book Vault, we're going to take a look at Batman Annual number 15. This is a book written by Alan Grant, and I wanted to pick something from around the same time as Norm Breyfogle's art, but I don't like to review things by the people on the show. I feel like that's kind of bad form, to review something they did. That seems kind of mean. So I didn't want to do that, but I wanted to do something from around the same period. And this also includes Anarchy, which, as Norm was talking about, is one of his favorite characters that he helped create. So, Armageddon 2001 was this deal where there was apparently... this started in 1991, and the idea was that 10 years from then, one of the major superheroes was going to snap and try to take over the world, was basically the idea.
Interesting.
And so they called this Armageddon 2001. Now, one of the things I think is really odd about this is that they dated it. That they dated themselves and they said, in 10 years it's going to be 2001. And so in this we see like this elderly Alfred and things like that. And it's really weird to date your comic books since we have a whole lot of history that happens for decades and decades behind this, even with retcons. And then we're saying, well, it is 1991 and Alfred is barely going to be walking around in 10 years. And anyway, I think that's amusing. But I'm not going to say a whole lot about this because it's kind of long and it's a good book and you should read it for yourself. But basically, what happens is there's this guy running around trying to figure out, this guy from the future named Wave Rider, who's running around trying to figure out which of the heroes is going to be the bad guy. And so he keeps taking them into their own futures to try to figure this out. And so we go 10 years ahead, and we find out that mysteriously nearly all of Batman's villains have been killed. With the exception of the Penguin and Catwoman and like Killer Croc and the Joker. And those are pretty much the ones that are left. And they all figure into this story, and I won't go real deep into it. But basically what happens is Batman is the lead suspect, but nobody can really pin it on him because they don't have any hard evidence. But then in an actual fight with the Penguin, because he's gotten old and he's not doing so well anymore, trips and falls and dies in a fight with Batman. And so now there's enough evidence to possibly convict him for all the murders. Which I think was kind of a really interesting idea. And what I really like about it is that Batman himself decides that even though he wasn't directly at fault, he didn't push the Penguin, he didn't try to kill him on purpose, but because, according to his own morality, he still is at fault for the death of the Penguin. So he doesn't try to escape or anything. He decides, I deserve this, and he's sentenced to the death penalty. And we find out as it goes along that the Joker is actually responsible for this whole thing, of course, and the Joker gets let out of Arkham because he manages to, with the help of the Penguin, get a bunch of people to sign off on his having gone sane, and he goes off and he gets his own talk show, which I don't know how some network so quickly gave him his own talk show, and a helicopter. But anyway, so he gets his own talk show, and he decides to have Batman on the talk show just before Batman gets killed. Well, to make a long story short, Anarchy visits Batman in his cell, and they actually do like a quick change. So Anarchy puts on the bat suit, and Batman puts on the Anarchy suit. So you get this scene right here where Batman and Anarchy fight, but then we find out that it's actually Batman, and so that Batman's able to get the drop on the Joker right at the very end of this whole thing. And basically, by the end of it, we find out, of course, that Batman was not the guy who grows up and turns evil, and he doesn't kill the Joker in this, but the Joker actually kind of does something stupid and kills himself, and then Batman laughs. So anyway, but I thought it was quite a good book. I really enjoyed it, and so I totally recommend that if you get your hands on it. Anyway, so now it's time to find out the answer to today's trivia question, and the correct answer to the ventriloquist's real name was Arnold Wesker. And who gave us that first, Gloria?
That would be Plinch.
Plinch! Well done to you, sir. And now it's also time to find out the year for this year's Batmobile. This year's Batmobile was from 1952, Tim. You got it wrong. Have you ever gotten one of these yet?
Blast! No, I haven't gotten one of these right yet. No.
Alex, are you ready to play us one more song?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. I want to say thanks once again to Norm Breyfogle for being on the program. Thanks everybody for watching. Be sure to support your local comic book store if you have one. And remember, when you're sliding down the bat poles, the bigger guy gets the fatter pole, and the skinny guy gets the thin one. I'm Captain Logan. Thanks a lot for watching, and Alex is going to go ahead and play us out. Alex?
And nerd rock I totally own, so how can I go and chase my dreams? There's gotta be others out there who are just like me, real big geeks, and I'm proud of all I love and what I do. There's got to be others out there who are just like me and like you. You can read lots of fanfic. Fan art is totally big. When music is in your heart, nerd rock is what you got. The wizards, they really rock. Good things, they never stop. The doctor regenerates. Yeah, nerd rock is totally great. So how can I not go and chase my dreams when there's so many others out there like me, real big geeks that are proud of all they love and all they do, and have happened to write a real good song, or maybe two. Let's play some nerd rock again. 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 Thank you.